In this video I'm going to show you how to make maps from the Municipality of Horsens. They have a wide range of maps available for free on their website. This is a list of the maps that you can make from the website of the Municipality of Horsens. You can make a map showing the location of the area. Where is it lying according to the rest of Denmark or according to Horsens. You can also make this map in webgis. A map showing the area and the land use of the area. This can also be made in webgis. A map showing the terrain conditions. This is a map you can also make in webgis. And then Pessimist Landscape Map. The only place you can find this map is actually at the Municipality of Horsens. Then there are different historical maps showing possible areas with organic sediments or other possible hazards. These maps can also be made in webgis. Then we have maps showing pollution at knowledge levels 1 and 2. More about that later in the lecture dealing with pollution. And we can make maps of possible activities in the area. For doing this, we actually use the historical aerial photos to see has there been any changes in the area, any place where there might have been activities that could have an impact on your project. And finally, a map showing ancient monuments and protected areas. To find the webgis solution at the Municipality of Horsens, you can simply Google, use a browser, Horsens Kommune webkort. Then you will have the chance to choose this one. When you reach this website, you have to click on the button, go to webkort, and then the webgis solution opens up. I don't know if you have the possibility of having it in English. I haven't found the possibility, but we'll go through it slowly and you will be able to see which maps you're going to use for the project. First of all, when we open this webgis solution, we only have a few maps available. And we have to find additional maps. We do this by choosing this tool button here. And then you have a lot of more maps that you can choose. We need to choose what is called grundkort. We need to choose bygge- og beskyttelseslinjer. Grundvand, groundwater, jordforurening, meaning pollution, and baggrundskort, meaning background maps. Now we have added a lot more maps to the initial layer control here, and then we close again. Now we have a lot of maps available. We can also zoom in and out by using the scroll or using these two buttons here. You also have the possibility of drawing on the map. I'll show you that later. First of all, we can take a look at grundkort. Here we have different maps, different map types. We can look at for example, the terrain levels, højdekurver here. If we add these curves, we'll zoom in a bit so they get visible. Now we can see terrain levels here. You can also get them in gray color. You can also use the terrain model. Normally I think it's this one, yes, DHM 2007 terrain skyggekort, a shadow map. So you can see the terrain levels as a model instead of as contour lines. So that was the terrain levels. The maps in itself, we have different possibilities of choosing map. We can choose this kind of map, screen map. We can choose it in gray if we want that. A basis map. A basis with road names. This could also be useful for you. This kind of map, or the classical map type like this. It's up to you what you think is the best map to use for showing the things that you need to show. I will go back to the original screen map. That's what we have here. If I click this off, we won't have any map. Then we have the aerial photos. There are a lot of different aerial photos. You can see we go back as far as 1945. If I put this on, it takes some time to load in. You can see the aerial photos from 1945, just after or about the same time as Second World War ended. That's fascinating. That's how it looked in the Horsens area. You can see we have a lot of small fields today. These will have been replaced by very large field areas in a modern agriculture. I can try and zoom in a little bit. Then we can take the next orthophoto is from 1954. Here we have a lot of fields. You can see here we have some excavation that has been going on here. Excavations can be dangerous because maybe they have excavated limestone or gravel, and then a hole will have been left in the terrain. And in ancient time, or well, until 20 years ago, whenever there was a depression or hole in the terrain, you just filled it up with all your garbage. It could have been a lot of different garbage, also pesticides or oil or other pollutants. So we always look for these possible polluted areas. 1965. It's a bit dark, it can be difficult to see anything. 1972. Now you can see already now that fields are becoming larger. 1980. You can see we have a small hole here as well. 85. 90. Whatever was here is now gone, but it might have it might be a hole that has been filled up with fill material or polluted material. We never know. Now let's go to 2002. You can see this area is used for something special. We don't really know what it is. Still used. Now 2005, 2008, 2011, 13, 15, 18, and the newest one, 2019 here. By looking at these aerial photos, you'll be able to see if there's been made any major changes to the area. It could have been lakes or that have been filled up, or special areas where you can see machinery or cars being parked or something like that. Try to look through your area and see, has there been any activity that could have any impact on your project. Let's go back to our list here. We have dealt with a map showing the location of the area, map of the area, and map showing the terrain conditions, and also map of possible activities in the area. These were the aerial photos. Now let's deal with the Pessimist Landscape Map. I'll just show you how to find it and make explanations of the map in a separate video. A Pessimist Map of Landscape can be found in the group called Andre historiske kort, other historical maps. If we open that, it's the top map that we have here. I can click it on. You can see that it's you have to zoom out a bit to get an overview of the landscapes in the area. It's not a good idea to have it zoomed in too close. The green color you see here is simply because it's only the Municipality of Horsens that is shown. You can take off the green color by going to, let's see, administration, administrative inddelinger, administrative grænse, administrativ grænse, and click off kommuner, municipalities. Then you get rid of the green color here. Now when we look at the Pessimist Map of Landscape, I'll make a separate video explaining how to interpret this map. So for now, that's what I'm going to show you about the map. I'll click it off again. Let's go back and see what we're still missing. Pessimist Landscape Map. Historical map showing possible areas with organic sediments. Let's go to that. And the historical map you can find here, historiske baggrundskort. And what we are looking for is what called lave målebordsblad. These are maps from going from 1928 to 1940, and høje målebordsblad, maps showing the area from 1842 to 1899. Let's look at the oldest map here. This map shows us the status of the landscape at that time. You can actually see the green color here represents areas where we have organic or freshwater conditions, meaning we have lakes or bogs. And if we have lakes and bogs, we can be sure that there are organic sediments. Let's have a closer look at this area here. Here we can see that we have a bog or a lake condition, and we will have organic sediments here. We can go to the next, the younger map here, and we still have the signature for this bog or lake conditions here. These maps are very important when you want to look into where could we have possible areas in the project area where we have organic sediments. They might not be visible on the terrain today. If I go to the normal map, you can see I have no indication of here being organic sediments. I might have it if I go to the map showing us the soil type in the area, the map that you can collect from Geos. I'll put it on here, and here you can actually see the green color indicates that we have organic sediments here. So in this case it's covered by the soil map. If I go back to the old map, there might be other features that we want to look into. These signatures here, the orange color here, indicates that there's an excavation, probably an excavation made for example, collecting gravel or sand, or it could also be for marl, meaning calcium carbonate rich clay. And these excavations can have been filled out with fill, sediments, or sometimes pollution. So it's important to notice where do you have these former excavations. You see them a lot in the area here, also an excavation here. So you might want to make a map showing where do you have these features. You can actually do it by drawing. You can use this tool here for drawing areas or just lines. Then I can draw a small area around this one. I can do the same here. And here. And these drawings will be left when I close this map. You can see these are the markings of where we might have former excavations that might represent either some pollution or some sediments that have been filled into the hole, so we have an unstable ground here. Yes, that was the historical maps showing possible areas with organic sediments or possible areas where we have had former excavations. Now we need to go into the maps of pollution at knowledge levels 1 and 2. I'll close down the maps I opened before, and now we need to go to jordforurening, meaning soil pollution. We use jordforurening. There are different possibilities here. We use the ones called V1 and V2. If I zoom out, I'll get an overview of where we have pollution in the area. You can see, for example, here we have a pollution. And the meaning of V1 and V2 is that V1 represents areas where we suspect that there might be pollution, while V2 represents areas where we know that there is a pollution. And for example, here this is a dike that have been made artificial. It contains slightly polluted soil, and that's why it's been registered as polluted. This dike is used for screening against noise from Haldrupvej. If we take a look at the area where we have via, you can see we have a suspected pollution in the area where via is lying. This is simply because that there used to be an excavation here for clay to make pottery, and if you have had an excavation in old times, it could have been filled up with polluted material or other kind of pollution. So that's why it's registered. We'll learn more about that in coming lectures. Finally, we have to make a map showing ancient monument and protected areas. And here we use the thematic group called bygge- og beskyttelseslinjer. And we open up this bygge- and beskyttelseslinjer. The first one is protected stone and soil dikes. Here we have protecting lines around churches, And these are the two most important layers that we need to take a look at. You will not be able to break down ancient stone dikes like this, or build anything close to a church, or you would have to have a special permission for doing that. So it's important to avoid stone dikes like this and church building lines. So be aware of that. This finishes the list of maps that you can make from the Municipality of Horsens. Notice that some of them you can also make in webgis, and it's up to you how you want to make them. Yes, that's that.